There was once a poor shoemaker named Toby who lived in a small, noisy corner of the city. His shop was just a wooden table by the roadside, with some old tools and pieces of leather. He didn't have much, but he was always smiling. People often wondered why he was so happy all the time. One afternoon, as the sky turned gray and rain began to fall, a rich man named David rushed into Toby's small shop for shelter. David wore an expensive suit, shiny shoes, and a gold watch. He had everything money could buy, but his face was always serious and sad. As they waited for the rain to stop, David watched Toby carefully. Toby was humming and polishing a pair of shoes like he was the happiest man in the world. "You always smile," David said suddenly. "But look at your life. You have nothing. How are you even happy?" Toby laughed softly. "It's because I made a promise," he said. "A promise?" David raised an eyebrow. "Yes," Toby replied. "Let me tell you a story." He looked out into the rain as he spoke. "Before my mother died, she called me close and said she had one last story for me. She told me that when my father passed away, she was left alone with me, just a baby in her arms. She became sad, angry, and full of pain. Life was hard. She didn't smile, and every day felt heavy. She decided to sell things in the market to survive, but each day she went out with a sad face. Nobody came to her stall. She would sit for hours and return home with little money. This made her even more sad. One day, she noticed her neighbor in the market, a woman with fewer goods and a very small stall. But that woman always smiled and laughed with everyone. Her stall was always full of customers. My mother wondered why. She decided to try something new. The next day, she greeted the first customer with a smile, even though her heart was still heavy. That customer came to buy just one thing but ended up buying 5. She was shocked. From that day, she decided to smile more, to be happy on purpose. Slowly, things started to change. People liked her more. She sold more. She got help from others. Life became lighter. And she told me something I'll never forget, "Toby, no matter what happens, choose to be happy. Be grateful. God always has your best interest at heart. Promise me you will never forget this." And I promised her. David was quiet. Then he said, "So your mother believed happiness brings success. That's why she smiled. And you, too, smile because you think happiness will bring good things." Toby nodded. "At first, yes. But let me tell you another story." He leaned in closer. "Some years ago, I met an old man who told me about a project he once did. He went around talking to people with disabilities who were always joyful. He met a blind man who laughed all the time. When he asked why, the blind man said, 'I may not see, but I can talk, I can eat, and I am healthy. That's enough reason to be happy.' Then he met a lame man who couldn't walk but always greeted everyone with a big smile. The lame man said, 'I can see. I can hear. I can think clearly. I'm thankful.' He spoke with many others like that. All of them had something missing, but they chose to focus on what they still had." Toby looked David in the eye. "That story changed me. I asked myself, if these people can smile with what they lack, then me, with all my body parts working, should I not be even more grateful? I may not have money. I may not have a big house. But I can breathe. I can walk. I can eat. I don't sleep in the hospital. That is enough for me to be happy." David didn't say anything for a long time. He just stared at the wet ground, deep in thought. When the rain finally stopped, he stood up slowly and looked at Toby. "Thank you," he said quietly. "You've given me a lot to think about." He shook Toby's hand and walked away. From that day on, David began to change. He started looking for reasons to smile. He stopped focusing only on what he didn't have, and started being thankful for what he did have. His heart grew lighter, and people noticed that he smiled more often. And as for Toby, he kept his mother's promise. Every day, he chose joy, Because he had learned the secret: happiness doesn't come from what you have. It comes from how you see what you have. Share this video with someone who needs this gentle reminder. Like this video and subscribe to the channel for more inspirational stories like this.